Hi, Marty Duda here, and today on the 13th floor, not only do we have Durand Jones, but also two of the indications, Aaron Frazier and Blake Green, here to talk about their brand new album, Private Space.
I know you came with your friends, but who you leaving with? Bodies talk between the lines, and we both read it.
So, Durand Jones and the indications here on the 13th floor. Thank you for doing this for me. It's fantastic. So if each one of you would like to introduce yourselves and tell us where you are, I feel like I'm hosting a television show.
My name is Aaron. I play the drums and sing, and I am in Brooklyn, New York.
Cool. Durand?
Hey, my name is Durand Jones, and I am in San Antonio, Texas.
All right. And then we have Blake.
Yeah, this is Blake calling in from Chicago, Illinois.
Man, this is cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys, for doing this. The album's about to come out in a couple of days. What are your plans for the day? No?
We have a listening party. We're all coming to Durand's backyard, and so we'll be in San Antonio. We're going to be posted up at one of our favorite record stores in the whole world, Friends of Sound.
Oh, cool.
And so everybody will come listen to the record. We'll sign some things, take some pictures, and then we'll do a DJ set afterwards to celebrate.
Right. Sounds like fun. And have you guys haven't been doing gigs in any length of time. That must be driving you crazy. Is there a hope on the horizon for that?
Definitely, man. We hit the road again in late August, early September, and it's going to be really beautiful to see the folks out and about again and really feel the sound and feel the energy.
Cool. So speaking of sound and energy, we have the new album, Private Space, which I've had the pleasure of listening to. It's your third album. And so if one of you can kind of maybe Blake, we can start with you. You can tell us kind of how it compares to what you guys have done before and how you kind of evolved, changed, whatever you think it has happened.
Yeah, I think fans of our last two records will definitely notice a more polished and kind of more late 70s sound than our earlier records. And there's definitely a element of disco as well as like more contemporary influences, like contemporary R&B or even some 90s R&B influences. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit more varied in terms of like our influences on this record.
Right. And did you guys have a discussion about any kind of change in sound, or was it just an organic thing that happened within the band?
I think it was a really organic thing that happened. It's just our records, I think, have always been dictated by our listening habits, and our listening has shifted over the years. And I think on this record too, we wanted to put more of our like full picture of who we are, not just as a revival band. Like I don't think this is a revival record.
Right.
So not only forefront, that we've been listening to disco and modern and Euro groove, Italian stuff, but also that we love, hip hop and pop music and all the things that are happening today.
Right. Cool. So a lot of what the band is about is the vocal interplay between the two of you guys. And I know in the interim you put out this, so there's been that, and everybody's been kind of doing their own thing. But the album itself starts out with a song called "Love Will Work It Out," which I see there's a video, and I believe Durand is leading that one off. So maybe you guys can, Durand, if you want to tell me a little bit about the song and about your performance in it.
As I roamed across this land and felt the pulse of every heart of every man, I sang some songs to heal some souls. Looking back, it felt so very long ago.
That song was birthed in Bloomington, Indiana in November of 2020. all of the guys in the band, we all decided to drive to Indiana.
Right.
Because public transportation just seemed a little shaky at the time, and we wanted to get together and demo some tunes.
Right.
Aaron came up with these chords, and the band went into the studio and they started working out some kind of song form. I was working on some lyrics, just reflecting on the time where I really felt the lowest during the pandemic, right around the time where the George Floyd protests,
Right.
and Breonna Taylor was just like really like really emotionally charged all over the country, you know. And
right. It's amazing you mentioned that, because I've spoken to quite a few people in the States in the last few days even, and everybody brings that up as a touchstone as to how it affected them moving forward from that point. So it's obviously very, you know, it had an impact.
Yeah, it was just so unreal. Because the quarantine happened and you're just like, it can't get any worse than this.
Right.
And then
it does.
And then something else happens, like it can't get any worse than this. And then it just keeps happening. And you just get on social media, you know, or you just get on the internet to just be updated with the current events. And it just seemed like the world was in a dumpster fire. Yeah. I definitely had to take a step back, and I definitely had to just take a little breather, a little pause. I think a good bit of us in the band felt that way. It was just really tough and tumultuous during those times. And so while they were working on this song, I was just reflecting on those moments before the pandemic, before the quarantine, and then during it, and just came up with Love Will Work It Out. I felt like even though the verses have like this darker tone to them, I really wanted the chorus to be uplifting, and to I guess, you know, give people a little hope that all is not lost and that we can move forward with love. We owe it to the future generations, man, to move with love.
Yep. Well, there is an optimistic vibe to it. It comes through, definitely. The other thing that comes through is people seem to love the bass line to that. So
I do too.
That's a good plus, isn't it? And while we're on the subject of the songs that you've done videos for, you also have this one with some dancing in it. The Way That I Do, I believe, is the name of the song. And so maybe you can tell me what that's all about. There's some stepping going on there, isn't there?
You give me a favor, and the pounding of my chest, that's more than my emotion. I'm feeling deeper, seeing stars with your caress, and I can't fight the notion.
Yeah, Durand had this idea for this music video. He's like, I just remember him saying like, this song feels like a Steppers thing. You kind of like act it out. And Aaron and I were both like immediately on board. We're like, that sounds really cool.
Right.
And since I'm based in Chicago, I know a couple of people that are kind of like from that community. So I was able to reach out to a friend of mine, and I said, you know, like, hey, this is the kind of concept we have for a music video. And weirdly enough, we took like a YouTube video of this couple stepping, and we just set it over the song just to see how it would work. And I sent it to him, and I said, hey, this is what we're thinking. And it was like this Pete and Linda Fraser is their names, and they're like world-class steppers. And Andre Gibson, who's the person I was talking with, he's like, yeah, I can get in touch with Pete and Linda.
Right.
So he just put us in touch with the exact people. And it was a really, and you know, one of the kind of caveat that the dancers had is that we had to do it at a location that they specified.
Right. So
we drove down to Josephine's Southern Cooking on 79th Street in Chicago.
Right.
It's on the south side. And it was a really fun day of shooting, and super small crew, about like 3 people, and such a simple and like understated video, but it's like one of my favorite like visual things we've ever done with the band.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, I think I read somewhere where you guys kind of tapped into the Chicano lowrider community as well in what you guys are doing, which is interesting because I just got through talking to one of the guys in Los Lobos a few minutes ago, and I was like, oh, it's all coming together. So tell me how that happens and what's the connection there?
It happened very organically. It wasn't something we were chasing or attempting to do at all.
Right.
So, for those who don't know, like the lowrider refers to, a kind of car,
Yep.
and it's lowered on the suspension. And so not only does it sit lower to the ground, but because it sits low, it's better for the car if it drives slowly.
Right.
So low and slow is at the center of this
Yep.
culture. And when you're driving slowly, I think it feels very natural to listen to not only slow music, but it's all about enjoying the ride. And so music that can sound very sweet to the ears as well. So that was happening pretty unbeknownst to us primarily on the West Coast. Us in Bloomington, Indiana, we were just making music in our basement.
Right.
But because we weren't performing for a crowd, I think we naturally just wrote slower music than we would have if we were trying to entertain a room full of people every night. So rather than this album emerging, from like the James Brown school, which is what a lot of the like Daptone stuff was doing in Brooklyn,
Yep.
It wound up kind of as its own thing, and unintentionally in that way fit into this canon of songs that people classify as lowrider soul or sometimes as Chicano soul.
Gotcha. And of course, me being a certain age, all I can think about is the song by War. Low Rider.
Also a great song.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, I noticed that there's some strings sprinkled throughout the album. Did you have a string section working with you? And who did the arrangements and how did that work?
Yeah, we got some friends through Aaron, Pete, Langtote, and Ginger Dolden, who wrangled up some really world-class musicians.
Right.
And this was the largest string section that we've ever worked with. And they sounded beautiful. They really crushed it. Steve Olkowski, our keyboardist,
right,
he arranged the strings to Ride or Die. And then with all of the other ones, Pete Langtote arranged a good bit of them under the supervision of mainly Blake and Aaron. I know Steve and myself, we added in a few comments here or there. But yeah, the string sound has been something that we've been trying to really discover and really capture beautifully since American Love Call, our second album.
Right.
And I really do think this time around we really nailed it. I really do think so.
Yeah, there's some sweet strings in there. So did you record this in some cabin in upstate New York?
So we recorded the basic tracks, the guitar, bass, drums, keyboards at Diamond Mine in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Or actually Long Island City. And then we took those sessions and we essentially put it on a laptop and then kind of escaped to upstate New York where we rented a cabin. And
of course, upstate New York can be anywhere not New York City. So whereabouts?
I'm not a New Yorker, so I'm going to say yes. I think we were in Phoenicia, technically. It's like near Woodstock, though.
Right, yeah.
And it gave us some time to really dial things in and kind of experiment, which was definitely a part of the process on the first record, but less so on the second record. So I'm really glad we took that time to do that. And I think it really lent itself to songs like With You, where, synthesizer was a very prominent part of the song, and synthesizer is not part of our normal kind of tool bag. So actually having that time to mess with the synths and get the sound we wanted. And then, bring in other kind of production elements that weren't part of our normal tool bag was really important.
Cool. Now I'm curious, I showed the album of Aaron's earlier, that came out earlier in the year. How has being a solo artist affected your relationship in the band and making music within the Indications?
It's been great. It's something that I really wouldn't have done if I felt like it was going to negatively, affect the band.
Right.
But Blake and Durand were incredibly supportive of the opportunity.
Right.
And I think it's nice. It gave me a newfound appreciation for what it's like to go through an album rollout process by yourself. It's a lot, and I feel very thankful that I don't have to do it here, and that we all kind of share that load together. And it also makes me appreciate, that every single member of the band are really talented songwriters, arrangers, music theorists, just like artists, and it's just nice to feel like I don't have to have all the answers here. We all kind of rely on each other to make this work, and I think that's what gives this band the sound that it does.
Cool. So the album's coming out on Friday. Hopefully there's a tour in the works. It's going to happen. What is the live show going to be like? What can people expect, and what's it going to be like for you guys to be on stage again, if you can, Durand?
I think the live show will be a little bit more upbeat,
right?
A little bit faster pace. I think we are going to take on the challenge to get people moving and dancing.
Right.
Definitely for this tour.
Well, there's a song called Sexy Thang on it, so that should do something.
Hopefully, it'll make people real happy. And if they have a loved one, maybe it'll, make their evening very exciting. I hope it does.
Right.
But yeah, I think for us, what we want is, I think, to just be with our people again. It's been since March of 2020 that we played a show, and we're missing our people. We miss the energy. We miss feeling that energy and those emotions that you give back. I was watching this really cool documentary about Billie Holiday, and somebody was mentioning, like if you sing a song and you're about to laugh, but you don't quite laugh, the audience will laugh. If you sing a song and you're almost on the edge of tears, but you don't cry, the audience will cry and let that out. And whenever I heard that, I totally felt that deep within myself, and I can't wait to experience those feelings again. Whenever it feels like your emotions are connected with 1,000 people in a room, it's such a beautiful feeling, and I can't wait to get back to it.
Well, on that note, I can't follow up. That's pretty. Well, come down here if you get a chance. We'd love to see you in New Zealand.
I'd love to come down to New Zealand, man. Come on, buy some plane tickets.
Exactly. Right now, you got to stay in quarantine for a couple of weeks, which is not the worst thing in the world, but it has to happen. But hopefully, things will open up soon. Everybody gets vaccinated, and we're on our way. So, fingers crossed. But thank you guys for spending time with me. Really appreciate it. And good luck on Friday when the record comes out. I hope it does everything, and you have a good time and have all back together again. It'd be great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having us.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.